Tonight on CTV News at 5.
People are turning to AI as they are not able to get into their family physician.
Medical misinformation. AI advice is cause for concern for some doctors.
Everybody just loves her hair, and she gives back to the community as much as the community gives to her.
Rooting for a hometown hero, Stellarton comes out to support Olympian Blair Turnbull.
Increasing cloudiness tonight with snow starting in western parts of the region overnight.
Live from the Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Penopalis. Thank you so much for joining us. First at 5 tonight, digital diagnosis. If you're like most people, you've probably gone online for health information, but actual doctors are ringing the alarm, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. As CTV's Hafsa Arif reports that AI advice may be causing harm rather than healing. Hi there, Hafsa.
Hey, Maria. When you can't get in to see a doctor or you just want answers now, AI fills the gap, but as its role in healthcare grows, doctors warn it may also be adding confusion.
It's the late-night symptom spiral, but now instead of Google or WebMD, many Canadians type their concerns into artificial intelligence platforms.
People are turning to AI as they are not able to get into their family physician, primary care provider. So they want information, they want it quickly, they want it at their convenience.
According to the data from Abacus, nearly 7 in 10 Canadians say false health information online has made them skeptical of what they read, and 77% worry about false health information coming out of the U.S. But despite those concerns, people still turn to AI for answers.
I guess the information it gives you, it's kind of legit. So I wouldn't mind using it for like medical reasons someday.
The survey found people who followed medical advice from AI platforms experience 5 times more side effects than those who don't.
So the downstream effect is that they do not have the correct diagnosis or correct treatment, and then at some point will clarify that with their family physician.
In Nova Scotia, Dr. Matthew Clark has noticed a trend.
More what I see is patients who are using those tools and want to have a conversation about it, which I think is really valuable and important. So I less think it's about patients being adamant or vehement, and more that patients have significant concerns and want to make sure that they're addressed.
Some Maritimers refuse to use AI for medical purposes, mainly due to the lack of security safeguards.
It would be too risky that you might get some hallucination, and it's bad enough just Googling things, right? So no, I would still refer to medical professionals right now.
Healthcare providers say not all AI is problematic. If used properly, it can provide great benefit. Nova Scotia recently launched an AI assistant for health-related concerns.
An AI tool in Your Health NS called Nova, and it's essentially a large language model that's grounded in Nova Scotia content. So it's exclusively accessing Nova Scotia relevant and Nova Scotia approved information.
Doctors say AI can be a starting point, but not to provide a diagnosis. If you are using it, they recommend treating it as a conversation starter, not medical advice, and bringing those questions to a healthcare professional. Maria?
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And as always, know your source, check your source. Thank you, Hafsa. CTV's Hafsa Arif for us in the news center this evening. That brings us to tonight's web poll. We are asking, have you ever turned to AI for medical advice? These are your options. Yes, no, but I would, and no, and I wouldn't. Go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to weigh in and to see the latest poll results. All right, over to the anchor desk we go now, where Todd Battis is standing by.
Hi there, Maria. Well, it's that time of year, especially when you listen to Kaylin, when Maritimers look to head south to escape the cold and the snow, right? But for many wanting to visit Cuba, there is a problem. Airlines are being forced to cancel flights because of a shortage of jet fuel. Perhaps you've heard about that. It's causing headaches getting to and from the very popular destination. We will hear the latest tonight at 6 o'clock. Virtual care and why the New Brunswick government has chosen a Luxembourg provider over a New Brunswick-based one dominated discussion at the Legislative Committee this afternoon on health care. CTV's Laura Brown was there, and we will hear what they had to say. Nova Scotia Power has named a new chief executive officer as it continues to deal with the fallout from last year's cyber attack and seeks a rate hike of almost 8%. Peter Gregg, who will stay with the company, in fact, he's heading over to parent company Emera, is being placed replaced by a longtime Sobeys executive. We'll have reaction to that move tonight in your newscast. Let's get some reaction to the weather. Kaylin Mitchell is watching weather statements, which are coming in fast and furious.
Yeah, that's right. And some of those statements actually upgraded to snowfall warnings for parts of Nova Scotia this afternoon by Environment Canada. So we'll take a look at those in a moment. Just before that, though, there was already some heavy snow shoveling work going on for one particular part of the Maritimes for today, and that was areas of northern Inverness County in Cape Breton, especially in around the Shetty Camp area. Last night into this morning, there were some very localized but intense snow squalls that set up off the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and at least according to viewer reports, in some cases brought in some amounts could have been in excess of 15 or even 20 centimeters. Taking a look at temperatures right now around the region, in a lot of cases they're sitting between around -3 and +1. Yes, we do have a few temperatures on the plus side of the scale as we're moving into the first part of this evening, but it is going to be getting colder tonight, and of course having cold air in place is important for our snowfall forecast for tomorrow. Taking a look at the winds, they're mostly out of the north. They're being sustained right now between 5 and 20 kilometers per hour. No particularly strong wind gusts to show you. A few around Cape Breton that are pretty close to 40 kilometers per hour. Sydney Airport right now 48 kilometers per hour. Taking a look at things on radar and satellite, there's still some cloudiness around Prince Edward Island and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Other parts of the Maritimes tonight will see increasing cloudiness with the first of the snow arriving in western areas of New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia during the overnight. Here's the special weather statements and snowfall warnings in effect. The snowfall warnings out 4 counties in Nova Scotia. That's where most of it is expected to fall, and I'll talk about it in more detail when I'm back a little bit later on. Maria.
So much to discuss. Thank you, Kaylin. We're going to take our first break here on CTV News at 5, but stay with us. So much more ahead on the show, including find out how to win 4 tickets to see the Halifax Thunderbirds when they take on the Las Vegas Desert Dogs in March. The details are just ahead. But coming up next, Russell Gross joins us for a conversation about the bright future of the Black Cultural Centre for Nova Scotia. And a little later, we have this story.
I'm Vanessa right here in Stellarton, Nova Scotia, where a crowd of people have gathered to watch Stellarton's own Blair Turnbull represent Canada in the Olympics. We'll speak with her family coming up on CTV News at 5.
And let me give a shout out to Russell and the Black Cultural Centre. Yeah. For the challenge coin, commemorating the number 2 Construction Battalion, commemorating Black history told in the region, in the center of much of that history, and we look forward to supporting that, Russell.
That, of course, is Prime Minister Mark Carney last week at a Black History Month reception in Ottawa, talking about and to Russell Gross. Russell, of course, is the longtime executive director of the Black Cultural Centre for Nova Scotia. For the last several decades, he has been a tireless advocate for Black history and communities here at home, and obviously on a much bigger stage as well. It's so nice to welcome Russell back to our show. Good to see you.
Great to see you, and thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you and have you here once again, and happy African Heritage Month, and welcome home. You were just in Ottawa a few days ago. What a trip. A whirlwind trip. Now, you went there to kind of, you know, tell the country about African history here in Nova Scotia. Why is it so important for the rest of the country to know our history here?
Yeah, it was an incredible event that we had on the property of the House of Commons with senators and MPs to really celebrate the fact that Nova Scotia is known as the birthplace of Black culture and heritage, with communities here that stretch back well over 400 years. You know, we wanted to let the rest of Canada know that Nova Scotia is the origin point of the Black experience in our country.
Outstanding. You also discussed the future of the Black Cultural Centre for Nova Scotia. It opened in 1983 and has already grown so much, and now more growth is on the horizon. Tell us what's on the rise.
Yeah, exciting times for us as we launch a campaign to expand the footprint of the centre and also expand our mandate to become Canada's national Black History Museum. Something that doesn't exist in our country, and we feel that Nova Scotia is the place to have it because of the long-standing history.
And it sounds like the Prime Minister might be behind you on that too, hey?
Definitely. I had the honor and the fortune of being able to have a meeting with the Prime Minister about this project and to share the importance of the project, and was very, very happy with the feedback that was provided, and I think we're on our way to a remarkable journey that will be something that we can celebrate as Nova Scotians, but most importantly as Canadians.
Absolutely, because of course Black history is Canadian history. We've said that for years. It's so nice to see it actually actualizing. The expansion goes hand in hand with this year's African Heritage Month theme, strength in unity, moving forward with purpose, prosperity, power, and progress. Did you have the expansion in mind when you came up with that theme?
The theme was actually developed from community, and so, there are members from the community that, give us suggestions for the theme. But what was so remarkable is that, yes, it does fit nicely with, the theme of the expansion of the Black Cultural Centre and our move to become Canada's National Black History Museum. When we think of strength and unity, we think about, from the baseline in Nova Scotia, the over 52 historic Black communities. But as a Canadian narrative, we look at the strength and unity of our communities from coast to coast and how that story can be told and how Nova Scotia is so importantly woven into the fabric of Canadian Black identity.
Let's talk a little bit about that history. You have been the executive director now for 30 years, 3 decades at least.
I've been the executive director for about 15 years, but I've been an employee of the Black Cultural Centre for 32 years.
Oh my goodness.
I walked into the doors of the facility as a high school student, as a summer student, summer intern. And I must say, to be in the position of guiding history has been my life's work. It's been so important to me. At the time that I walked into the doors of the center, history wasn't something that was well known of the Black community. And, I walked into the place and I saw my own history on the walls, and that was a powerful statement for me. And then, I wanted everyone to know that. I want everyone to see that. And that's why we're working so hard to become a national center.
Well, you're doing an amazing job over these years, over these so many years that you've been with the Black Cultural Centre. Do you have any standout accomplishments or stories?
I would say that, the story of the No. 2 Construction Battalion, as was mentioned by the Prime Minister, and he was so, adamant to share about that. That story is a story that when I started at the center as an intern working with the late Senator Calvin Ruck, he was doing research on that battalion, and it was something that no one knew about. People knew about it in community, but beyond that, no one knew. And I've seen that story grow and morph over the last 3 decades. To, in 2022, the then Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, offering a national apology to the families and descendants. Looking at that from that perspective, that's a remarkable story. And what keeps me going each and every day is the fact that Black history in our country is still evolving. We're still learning more. We're still researching new things. And so it's never a dull moment. There's always something new to share, and something that, yesterday I didn't know and today I do.
Yeah, and in your hands, I know that it is safe and that it is progressing in terms of teaching it to the rest of Nova Scotia and, of course, the country. You've got a big gala coming up at the end of the month. We're running out of time, but very quickly, tell me, why is this such a big event?
Yeah, so we have a gala that we host at the last Saturday of the month, the 28th, at the Halifax Convention Centre, and it happens to be Canada's largest Black History Month gala, and a wonderful evening of togetherness, celebrating, and of course, our theme, which is strength and unity.
Excellent. Russell, thank you for coming in. I know this is a really busy time for you. Really appreciate your time, and congratulations on all your hard work.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I want to tell everybody at home that you can find more about the Black Cultural Centre for Nova Scotia on our website. We've included a link, and also find out where you can get tickets to the big gala that's also coming up later on this month. Here's Kaylin.
Thank you, Maria. Today in the Maritime, some of the cloudier conditions were around eastern parts of the region, including Cape Breton. But despite that, it wasn't completely overcast. You can see some blue sky peeking through here in Sydney earlier today. Now, Cape Breton is going to be one of the locations last into the snow. We'll be last out of it as well. More on that after the break.
CTV wants you to team up with the Halifax Thunderbirds. You could cheer on Halifax's National Lacrosse League team as they face off against Las Vegas Desert Dogs on March 7th. We are giving away 4 tickets to the game, a night stay at the Halifax Marriott Harbourfront Hotel, and so much more. Just go to ctvatlantic.ca or click on the QR code on your screen right now. We'll announce the winner on Friday, February 20th. Good luck, everybody. That's a nice indoor thing to do, Kaylin.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we may be doing more of that as the days approach, hey?
Yeah, we got a little bit of snow coming up in the forecast. Well, a little bit more than a little bit of snow for some areas. Let's take a look at our sunrise and sunset time zone. For that, we're going to go to Africville Park near the McKay Bridge in Halifax to see some blue sky for today. Actually, it was a good deal of sunshine across New Brunswick and most of the west of Nova Scotia for today. Then a little bit more cloud cover around parts of Prince Edward Island and the east of Nova Scotia. Taking a look at our weather systems map, we can still see that divide between where conditions are a little bit clearer and where things are a little bit cloudier, a little bit off towards the east of the region. But as we make our way through tonight, it'll be increasing cloudiness ahead of the arrival of our Alberta Clipper, which is still expected to take a path that will dip it just a little bit further towards the south into the northeastern United States and then move just off the southwestern point of Nova Scotia and then move up just off the Atlantic coastline on its way up towards Newfoundland. That, of course, is close enough to wrap snow into the Maritime region. Now, we're not seeing that show up on radar yet, though during the overnight, so before sunrise tomorrow morning, the first of the snow is expected to develop in communities in western New Brunswick as well as southwestern Nova Scotia, and then it spreads across most of the Maritimes Wednesday morning through Wednesday afternoon, though not arriving across the entirety of Cape Breton until later Wednesday evening. I mentioned that just before the break. This is going to be one of those weather systems where Cape Breton is last in, last out of it. So taking a look at a forecast timeline for cloud cover and precipitation. Here comes the clouds in through the gray. We're watching for the blues. That indicates the snow, and you can see that sets up shop across much of the west of New Brunswick and much of the west of Nova Scotia by early Wednesday morning, say between around 4 and 7 a.m. And then from there, that snow develops across the remainder of the Maritimes. Now, late Wednesday afternoon, but especially Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, there is expected to be a band of heavier snow that comes in off the Atlantic, sets up shop beginning around Halifax County and extending up the eastern shore. And then during Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, that band of heavier snow will wrap in to parts of Cape Breton and up towards the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia. Some of it might even reach the southeastern corner of Prince Edward Island. That band of heavier snow could have some snowfall rates of around 2 centimeters of snow an hour. So once we get into that, the snowfall amounts are really going to start adding up. That brings me back to the snowfall warnings and the statements that are in effect. I only mentioned these briefly at the top of the clock here, so I wanted to take a closer look at them. Special weather statements here are highlighted in through the gray. You can see that runs from Yarmouth, Digby County, up the Annapolis Valley, and in southern parts of Colchester County, including Truro, and then extends into parts of Cape Breton. There, potentially 10 to 15 centimeters of snow, maybe more locally, especially in the case of Cape Breton. There, I think the only reason there aren't snowfall warnings out is because it starts in Cape Breton a little bit later. As for much of the remainder of mainland Nova Scotia, underneath a snowfall warning, calling for some totals Wednesday into Thursday morning of about 15 to 20 centimeters of snow. It does look like the nature of the snow, because temperatures tomorrow climb towards and just above the freezing mark, will sort of be on the heavy, compact side. So if you're clearing it out of the way, make sure you take breaks. Don't want to strain yourself too much doing that. Now, winds for tonight are light and variable direction. Tomorrow's winds during the day out of the east and southeast with gusts of 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, then turn northerly Wednesday evening and Wednesday night. Similar gusts, except higher for Prince Edward Island and the east of Nova Scotia. There they could peak closer to 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. Now, temperatures for tonight are going to be on the colder side, several degrees below zero, some down into the minus double digits. And then looking at the high temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow, you can see some of those communities in Nova Scotia getting up to around 0 or +1. All right, let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from 9-year-old Aurora from Cape Breton. Aurora sent us a drawing of a beautiful rainbow coming out behind a rain shower. If you would like to be one of our weather watchers, they can come into CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you, Kaylin. So as we head to break some music from St. Lucia to the East Coast, this artist has made Halifax home. Ko moved here for university and quickly embraced the local music scene. He's a musician, DJ, producer, and all-around creative. Tonight's African Heritage Month Music Spotlight features his track, Trip. Here's a preview as we head to break.
You can come along for the ride, it's a trip. This the lavish life that we deserve, it's a trip. To describe my life in one word, trip. Baby, you ain't gotta bring no bag on the trip. Shopping spree as soon as we land, it's a trip. Baby, you already know that I'ma bring the vibe. Yeah, the world is mine when I pull up with the tribe.
Welcome back. The community of Stellarton, Nova Scotia gathered today to cheer on their hometown hero, Olympic medalist Blair Turnbull, as she competes in her third Olympic Games. The CTV's Vanessa Wright shows us her family couldn't be more proud of her dedication on and off the ice.
In her hometown of Stellarton, Nova Scotia, Olympic medalist Blair Turnbull has a crowd of people cheering her on.
It's been awesome to see her fulfill her dreams, and this is her third Olympics, so we couldn't be more proud of her and excited to watch her.
The ice hockey star won a silver medal in 2018 and a gold in 2022. As she competes in this year's Olympics, representing Canada and the Maritimes, her cousin Kayla and Aunt Linda reflect on how the community has stood behind her.
It's awesome. The community's so excited. It's so nice to just, walk into local businesses or schools around the town. Everybody's always cheering for her and rooting for her, whether it's a sign or stopping a family member on the street to talk about it. So that's been really great as well.
As they watch the 32-year-old live out her dreams playing ice hockey on the big stage, her aunt remembers it as a humble dream that started not too far from here.
There's a little pond by their house, and she used to go out there with her brother and the neighborhood children and play hockey. And I think that sort of made her a little competitive of where she is now in playing hockey, because she had to outdo her brother, of course.
Now Turnbull has a few family members with her in Italy where she's playing. For those who couldn't make it, her family says rest assured they will be cheering her on no matter how far.
Everybody just loves her here, and she gives back to the community as much as the community gives to her.
A support that is felt around the Maritimes and the country. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Stellarton, Nova Scotia.
Cheering for her, absolutely. Blair, you are amazing, and congrats to all of our athletes who have made it to the top of their game.
We are definitely rooting for you, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're also rooting for weather. I don't know. No, good weather, bad weather. It depends. Glass half full, half empty.
Yeah, so we've got that Alberta Clipper that's bringing snow to the Maritimes for tomorrow. Heavy for some areas, especially in the province of Nova Scotia. So, of course, I'm going to have more on that coming up at CTV News at 6.
We'll see you and Todd at 6. I'll see you tomorrow. The national news is next. Thanks for watching.